You are ready to edit your light painting portraits, and here is the video tutorial for the Prism portraits. So you're going to go into your Drive, your Digital Photo 1 folder, your light painting portraits, your Prism folder that you created, and you're going to see that you have at least 5 images in there. Okay, so here they are. And I'm going to change this to details because I want to select my CR2 file by holding down the control key. And I'm going to select all 5 of the images that I'm going to be editing. And again, you are editing your partner's images, not your portrait. Okay, so whoever your partner was, you're going to click on open, and it's going to open up the raw process folder. So we're going to be changing the light, effects, and we're also going to go to detail. Okay. So let's go ahead and we want to hold down our shift, our control key, and we want to select all 5 of these images. Okay. Because as we adjust the exposure on these, we should see all 5 of these images adjusting, and you want to make sure you hold down the control key to select them all. Okay, so do you see how I just bumped up my exposure by 2 plus 2, and it made these darker images a little bit lighter, right? Okay, so we don't want to click on any of these images quite yet. We want to make sure they just stay highlighted. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring the exposure down because I'm going to process these images for both the lighter areas as well as the darker areas. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring that exposure back up again. Okay, and it makes those adjustments. I don't think I want to go more than 1 or maybe 1.5 stops. Okay, so we'll look at that. Maybe I'll give it a little bit of contrast. Maybe I'll bring the highlights up a little bit, or yeah, highlights up. You can either bring it down or you can bring it up. I want to bring my shadows down a little bit. My whites, I'm going to kick up a little bit. My blacks, I'm going to bring down. And then I'm going to go to my effects, and I'm going to bring my texture up a little bit, my clarity, my dehaze, my vignette. Nope, no vignette, no vignette. I'll add in a vignette later on, I think. So I'm not going to do a vignette. And then I'm going to come over here to detail, and I'm going to bring my luminance up to about 40 and my color up to about 40. And then I'm going to go ahead and see if I want to custom adjust some of these. Okay, so there's this one, and it's pretty dark. So I'm going to go into my light, and I'm going to bring the exposure up just a little bit. I'm going to go to this one here and bring my exposure up just a little bit. I'm going to go to this one here and not do anything. I'm going to go to this one, and then I'm going to go to this one, and I'm going to bring my exposure down a little bit and around the way the exposure and the way it's reflected along the edges. And then I'm going to go ahead and open. I'm going to click on Control again and select all these images by clicking on Control, and I'm going to go ahead and open all 5 images. Okay, so and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to determine which image I want to edit. Okay, and I'm going to say that because I want to pick 1 out of 5, I'm going to say that this one is a definite no. I don't really, it's too dark. I don't like the color on that one. So I'm going to say no. This one is definitely a no. I don't like this bright light on the left side. she looks too blurry, so that's a no. And she's kind of like closing her eyes and it's too bright right there, so that's a no. And so I'm going to go with this one. And so far, the yellow part of the image looks like it's a good exposure, okay? So, but I'm going to process again one more time for the left side where it's a little bit bright. So I'm going to go and open that image up again. Here we go. I'm going to open that up. And I'm going to raw process it a second time by bringing down just the exposure a little bit on the face here. And I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine this image and this image. Okay, so since I'm only going to be adjusting this part, I'm going to go ahead and paste this onto the first one. So I'm going to go to select all, edit, copy, edit, paste, or Control V. And then I'm going to add a layer mask, and I'm going to go in with a black over white. So my foreground and my background. My foreground is black, my background is white, and I can either toggle back and forth or I can use the X on my keyboard to toggle back and forth. I want black over white. I want a nice soft brush. Make sure that I'm actually in a brush. Nice soft round brush. Hardness is 0. And let's bring my brush size down to kind of fit in this area. And what I'm going to do is, let's see here. Let's delete this layer mask really quickly. I just need to check that again. Okay, so I'm going to add the layer mask, and I'm going to lighten everything around. So that the yellow face that's in the reflected area is kind of balanced with the brighter face that's turned. Okay, so we've got a face looking to the right, we have a face looking to the left. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of make sure that everything is balanced. And we have a nice circle here on the layer mask and a little bit on the face. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to retouch, okay, by merging these layers together. So I'm going to go ahead and hold on my Shift key, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to merge. I'm actually going to duplicate these layers. And then I'm going to merge those layers by right clicking and go merge layers. And I'm going to call these layers a retouch. And then I'm going to go in with I'm going to use I like the spot healing brush tool. So let's go in and use the healing brush tool. And I'm going to zoom in, Control, we can open up our navigator and we can do it that way. Okay, so it's already open. We're going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to start to kind of like clean up the stuff here. Make sure, I'm trying to use this, and it doesn't seem to be, it's cleaning it up. It's kind of slow. I may use another brush. Maybe I'll use this one here. Hardness is 0. Size is really small here. And we're going to use the Alt button and just kind of like sample what we want. And I'm also going to kind of clean up this blue over here, like this blue light, and get rid of those little white dots. And just get rid of all of those little white dots. So get rid of the blue in here. I'm going to get rid of this white dot here, this white dot here. I kind of like some of these streaks in here, so I may leave some of them. Let's see. Okay. And I go over this way, and I'm just going to keep looking. I'm going to back out a little bit and just see how the image looks in general. I'm going to get rid of some of this blue up here along the top. I'm going to make my brush a little bigger, and I'm going to kind of clean up this blue on her skin here a little bit. If you find that it doesn't work, then go to the next. Yeah, it'll work no matter what because we merged the layers. So, yeah, just kind of clean it up on her skin here. And I'm going to get rid of these little lines here. I don't really like them. So you're just going to clean up your image. And if you want, you can use the clone stamping tool as well. If you feel like it's not really stamping over what you want, you can use the clone stamping tool. So there's a couple different brushes you can use for cleaning up. Okay. All right, so we can use the spot healing brush tool. If it doesn't work, then you can use the healing brush tool or you can use the clone stamping tool. Okay. The spot healing brush tool kind of works by selecting areas, and it's kind of like content aware, where the clone stamping tool, you have a lot more control. You know exactly what you're cloning. I'm going to jump into this a little more, and I'm going to get rid of this little line that's in between her, on her face here, and just kind of get rid of this little line here. And I'm going to use the clone stamping tool to do that. Just right in there. Just kind of get rid of that little line. Maybe change my brush size a little bit so I have a little more control. Get rid of that line on her face. Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to back up again. And I'm going to, so if we turn this off, we can see just how much it's changed. We've gotten rid of a lot of those little blue dots and some of the white in there. I'm going to leave the white here because it kind of makes sense with her face, having that nice white light on her side of her face here. And now I'm going to do a final vignette. Okay, so I'm just going to do a solid color, make it black. Okay, and then I'm going to click into this layer mask here, and I'm going to go in with my brush, and I'm going to remove, and I'm just going to keep it really black along the edges. You should see a nice circle here, and I'm going to reverse it, and I'm going to bring back, I'm going to make this a little bit darker here along this edge here. All right. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff up here as well. Okay, and then we can zoom in, and then you want to make sure you save your work with the correct name. Okay, file, save as, and make sure that you save your name with the correct name. So if we go and look in our file folder here, it should be called PP Prism Portrait, your first initial last name. Alrighty.